Hello, what's going on, everyone? EVGA here for SerpentX Tech. Welcome back to another episode of Caffeine and Crypto, where I welcome you to join me with your favorite caffeinated beverage of choice: coffee, tea, energy drink, whatever it might be. If you don't like caffeine, grab some water as we go over some cryptocurrency news. This week has been a beautiful week, but we're going to be going over a few things. We got a little bit of Bitcoin news, a little bit of Ethereum news regarding the Dencun upgrade. Solana news had a bit of a issue and the recovery from that, as well as some mining or Bitcoin mining updates and just the overall market. That's what we got on today's agenda. So stay tuned, hang tight, do me a favor, hit the like button, make sure to get subscribed if you're not already, and hit that notification bell. But Bitcoin sitting around 47.3 right now. Ethereum sitting right below that 2,500 range. BNB around $321. Solana up 2.88% at $108. We got a few of our altcoins like Cosmos, ADA, DOT, Injective, Stellar, all in the red, but they're only down like percentages, maybe 1%, 33%, 60%. While a few are in the deep greens. You can see Immutable X, Tau, Beam X, Mina, Bonk is up 7.5%, 7.15, excuse me, so on and so forth. Got Helium around 5% to $7 and some odd cents. So besides this having a mix of red and green, this entire week has been a beautiful green week. If you look to my left, your right, or my right, your left, somewhere in there, this entire week has been nothing but green. Starting on February 5th, Monday, where we were sitting around that 42,300 range, we have climbed up to a peak of around 48K. Now you can see we touched that back here on January 11th, but we got rejected in the 49K area. Like whenever we get near that 49K or we try to push up past 48K, we get rejected. So 48K is some serious resistance there. But if we look at the growth from the beginning of this week, let's say right here to about the top, was about 13%, almost 14%. But where we stabilized is more a moderate 12 to 11.69%. So this week overall, we switched to weekly because right now we're on the daily. You will see this is a green candle for us. Let's see if it can sustain until Sunday. But looking all the way back, right? This is one of the reasons why I say zoom out. Looking all the way back to September, right? This bottom section here to where we are now is a 90% increase. That's quite good. Now, is this a fake out? Well, I'm going to be honest with you. There's a lot of good indicators out there. There's a lot of good metrics coming out. A lot of technical analysis indicators flashing, and it looks good. But just like I've experienced in the past, things can easily swap over. So is this a fake out? Because you can see we this happened as well in December 1st. We started pumping out. We put in a green week. We chopped sideways for a little bit, and then we had a fake out, or at least a pullback. Wasn't back to the same levels as it was before this started, but at least halfway through, we came back down, crashing from 44,000 to 40,000. Chop sideways, lifting up here and there, and then we get another one as well where we're going up, hit that 47.3, almost 48K range, if not did pass that 48K range, and then pull right back down to lower than where we started at around 41.5. And then we dropped significantly, fell out of this level of support, and then pushed back up. But we got the Lunar New Year, which typically is bullish, right, for the overall crypto ecosystem. Every time there's a Lunar New Year or Chinese New Year, usually that's a positive indicator. We also got some possible key metrics flashing at the same time. So I think personally, and this is just my opinion, not financial advice, that I still expect a pullback before we get into April for the halving of Bitcoin, and then chop sideways and then slowly start to pick up bit by bit as we start to move towards the end of this year, beginning of 2025, where I do expect a new all-time high. Now, that's just pure speculation on my part, but looking at the charts, looking at the indicators, looking at the trends, and that's where I still stand. This is the same stance that I had for the past few years now, with what I expect, what I've experienced throughout my tenure inside crypto and Bitcoin in general, and that's what I'm seeing, or that's what I believe will happen. But I could be wrong, and Bitcoin could just go straight up from here. But also Bitcoin can go up further and then just drop back, doing a fake out, causing a lot of sell pressure. So we'll see how things shake out in the long run. I'm interested to hear your thoughts though. Please, if you watch this later on and not live, jump down in the comments. Let me know when you think Bitcoin is going to make a new all-time high. Is it going to be Q1 2025, Q4 2025, or Q4 2024? Either way, let me know and try to throw some little bit of detailed evidence or supporting indicators or information that you can provide as well. For the live chat viewers, real quick, just bear with me, all my future viewers. Thank you so much for stopping by, though. Chris Henley, Crypto Craig, Grumpy Sarge Mining. I like that name, brother. Heck yeah, Sarge. Techman, Automatic Beats, Neomorphous 1.0, Rud Puts, Crypto Pounder 4. Appreciate you all stopping by. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Do me a favor, if you are trying to get my attention as I go through the news, please send a super chat or at me in the live chat. 3 key Bitcoin price metrics hint at BTC gains above 48K. Remember, 48K is that key level of resistance right now. But this article was written about 19 hours ago. It says Bitcoin's price is up 6.28% over the past 24 hours as it hit an intraday high at 48.2K on February 9th. Technical indicators rallying spot Bitcoin ETF shares, and on-chain data shows that Bitcoin has strength to revisit the post-Bitcoin ETF approval high of 49K. All right, that previous high or more recent high, not the all-time high, but more recent high of almost 49K is where some people are expecting us to go. Traders say that Bitcoin's super trend indicator shows a rare buy signal. Bitcoin's monthly chart shows a super trend indicator, and it's flashed bullish when it reversed from red to green and moved below the 44.6 on February 8th. The index overlays the chart while tracking BTC's trend like the moving averages. It incorporates the average true range in its calculations, which helps traders identify market trends. And this is what they're talking about right here. All right. So it flashed. We got green, red, green, red. We're flashing green, right? So previous confirmations from the indications or indicators were followed by 1,336%. Is that a point? Are you using points? That might be 1.33. Blah, blah, blah. Bitcoin rally, respectively. Trends from the past, yada, yada, yada. According to the indicator, as long as the index is green and stays below the price momentum tends to favor traders with bullish bias. As Bitcoin price continues to climb, and what they saw on February 9th, the Bitcoin ETF shares gained approximately 4% on average. Global X Blockchain and Bitcoin Strategy ETF gained the most, rising 6.6% over the last 24 hours, according to data from CoinGlass. And you can see a chart here where we had rises in various strategies or ETFs, right? And in terms of the spot Bitcoin ETF, we continue to see increased inflows like BlackRock's iShares. Bitcoin Trust maintains the top position of fund inflows with a total of $3.23 billion as of February 8th per Bloomberg data. Fidelity-wise, Origin Bitcoin Fund comes in second with inflows of $2.8 billion, and then Bitwise and ARK Invest come in third and fourth with $696 million and $695 million in total inflows, respectively. A key thing to note is that the total inflows for these Bitcoin ETFs have been greater than the net flows from Grayscale Bitcoin Trust for 9 days in a row, right? They're eating up that market share of the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, just destroying it, right? They're taking it. I mean, Grayscale is still the leader overall. If we look at the net inflows, I don't have that chart with me, but all these other ETFs, particularly BlackRock, taking a decent chunk out of that market share. Bitcoin finds support around the 42.5 region, which is what we were talking about in last week's stream. And let's see here. The in and out money around price, or IO map model, which shows information from addresses that bought an asset with a certain price range, shows that this level lies at the 41.5K range and 42.9K range, where approximately 1.01 million Bitcoin was previously bought by roughly 261 million addresses. So addresses increasing, inflows increasing, ETFs gaining traction. Things are looking positive, and then an indicator, what would they call it? A super trend indicator, looking very bullish for Bitcoin overall. But is this, yeah, this is what I was talking about, right? So another thing is the Lunar New Year, or Chinese New Year festival, which starts today. So happy Lunar New Year to anybody, any of the crypto fam out there. I wish you nothing but the best. I know China has not outright banned crypto, but it is kind of hard to do things there within a certain confines, or the confines permitted by the government. But I know many of you are still stacking them sats and mining or participating in the market and ecosystem in some way. So first off, happy Lunar New Year. Wish you nothing but the best. Enjoy time with the family. And usually when this happens, it's a positive all around. So the largest crypto rallied every time in the last 9 years by 11% around the Chinese New Year festival. Now, is that priced in? You know, obviously the Lunar New Year, people knew it was coming up. As we lead into it starting today, you know, is this already priced in? You know, is this weekly candle that we're making here like pricing in the Lunar New Year, or are we going to pump on top of where we already are? Now, if we pump on top of where we already are, that is a little bit concerning to me. That may not be to anybody, because I don't like going straight up. I don't like that. Usually going straight up means the fall is just that much harder. While I do, again, as I mentioned before, expect a pullback, a significant pullback, in fact, prior to April's halving. You know, I don't want it to be a dramatic fall. I just want it to be, oh, we fell, the typical whatever, Bitcoin's dead, everybody starts complaining about it, and then, you know, flip the script, Bitcoin starts pumping again, yada, 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 right? But everybody's fearful, you should be greedy. When everybody's greedy, you should be fearful, which we'll take a look at here in just a moment. But Bitcoin targets the 48K in the short term, fueled by strong historical record around the Chinese New Year. Bitcoin could hit 52K by mid-March, with the bull run peaking in 2025. So kind of aligning with what I've been saying for a while. And I know the channel doesn't get as much viewership as it would the major crypto influencers. And I don't want to be considered an influencer. I want to be considered an educator. But some of the things that I've been working to educate, provide insight on, are the same things that they are saying now. But because I am a small channel and they're a bigger channel, of course they have more of a wider impact. So everything is aligning as far as my research and my technical analysis goes. However, I do suspect in the long run, you know, more people, especially for Lunar New Year, getting involved in crypto, right? Because in Lunar New Year, everybody goes home for their families. So this is going to be everybody sitting around the table. Maybe Z or Charlie or Lynn or whoever comes to the table and starts to educate their parents and their family members and their auntie and their uncles about cryptocurrency and the benefits of cryptocurrency and blockchain in general, right? The underlying technology blockchain is world impacting. That's the big thing. That's the big selling point for me. Bitcoin being one of the oldest cryptocurrencies, you know, has that growing, what you would call it, prestige attached to it. But as people sit there with their families enjoying the Lunar New Year, as they should, you know, we will see what happens. Maybe people like Auntie, Theo, whatever. And when I say Theos, that's Spanish for uncle for all my English followers. You know, starts investing in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency because of what their family member had said. But anyways, we got a quote here. The next few days are paramount. Statistically, the next few days are of paramount statistical importance as Bitcoin tends to rally by 11% around the Chinese New Year starting on February 10th, Saturday, which is today. Thielen wrote on Thursday report, during the last 9 years, Bitcoin has been up every time traders would have bought Bitcoin 3 days before and sold it 10 days after the start of the Chinese New Year. So There you go, 3 days before. So 3 days before, looking at this chart, is Thursday the 8th. But we started pumping the beginning of this week, right? So is this pricing in the Lunar New Year? If not, you know, we zoom out here, let's say 11% from about this range. So not where we are right now, but the middle of this range, 11% would be roughly, I can't see it. I can't see it. Hang on, let me zoom out a little bit more. 11% from about right here. And this is just in addition to around 52, so 51.6K. So around that 52K range as the article had wrote. So I can see that. I can see that. But that 48K resistance is some serious resistance, man. That's hard to push through. They go on to talk about how Bitcoin, the largest cryptocurrency by market cap, blah, 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 is, you know, encountering key resistance level and in capping prices since the ETFs went live. Thielen describes the breakout as very important and has marked the end of the corrective period that saw Bitcoin decline to 38,500 in late January. This opens the door to our shorter-term target of 48K. Looking further ahead, Thielen forecasts further upside for Bitcoin based on the Elliott wave theory, a technical analysis that assumes the price move is repetitive. It moves in repetitive wave patterns. Price tends to develop in 5 stages according to the theory, of which waves 1, 3, and 5 are impulse waves, representing the main trend or the main bulk. Wave 2 and 4 are retracement between the impulse of price action. BTC complete its wave 4 retracement by correcting to 38.5 according to Thielen, and is now entering its last 5th impulse stage of its uptrend, targeting 52 by mid-March. So that's another indicator, besides it being Lunar New Year, that is separate from the super trend, right? So one of the key metrics, the super trend indicator, is completely different. And so we got a lot of positive indicators, a lot of positive momentum. And again, just keep that saying in the back of your head, you know, when everybody's greedy, be fearful, and when everybody's fearful, be greedy. And right now, the fear and greed index, which has been sitting at a consistent 55 for much of the past few weeks, if not months, is now climbing up in the 66, 68 range. So urge caution, right? Proceed with caution. DCA, again, not financial advice, but DCA means dollar cost average, right? If you get, say, for example, you got $500 check for a job or whatever, you took care of your major bills, you took care of your responsibilities, your car note, your insurance, your mortgage, whatever, everything's paid. You got a little bit left over. Take a percentage of that, 10%, 5%, 20%, you determine that number and put it into a cryptocurrency project in which you believe will be here long term. I wouldn't go FOMOing into whatever's been recently added on CoinMarketCap, right? A lot of these new coins are just popping up. They're basically copy paste meme stocks or meme tokens, where people are making money off of it. But the chances of, like, if I took $100 and put it into the top 10 of these right now, I probably would lose it. Maybe one coin or two coins would do good, so that $100 would turn into 120. But most likely I will lose a majority of my funds, because people literally do this. Like they automate this process to where a new token comes out on Ethereum or Solana or BNB, and they have it automated. I wish if somebody knows what I'm talking about and the whole MEV sandwiching and can build an automated bot, let me know. Hit me up in the DMs. I would be interested, because I wanted to look at the underlying inner functions of that, but it's a very highly kept secret. Like, I mean, like, people in the DGen space will not give up those secrets no matter what. You have to pry really hard or plead really hard or pay them a lot of money. I'm not talking about that. I just want to build one and look at how it works inside and see some of the intricacies, because then you also have poison pills and stuff like that. But the point that I'm trying to make here, let's not get too technical on you, is don't FOMO into projects that are new. They look attractive because there's a lot of zeros in it in the wrong way, and if it does go up by market cap, it could potentially make a decent penny, right? What like you saw in the past with Doge and SHIB and so many others, Pepe Pal. But it's a risk that you got to be willing to take and willing to lose it all. I would prefer to put my money, and this is just me personally, into assets or classes that have historical precedence and value overall or long term in the ecosystem. Anyways, moving on. New York Attorney General expands crypto lawsuit tied to the Winklevoss twins. This is Lolita James, and she expanded her lawsuit against the digital currency group, or DCG, right, with the whole Genesis Genesis and Gemini and stuff like that, tripling the size of their alleged fraud scheme to more than $3 billion. James had an October suit, DCG. It's Genesis Global Capital Unit, Gemini Trust, the exchange run by two brothers, Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss, who've been in the space for a very, very long time. This is a quite unfortunate situation, but she claimed that they caused more than $1 billion of losses by misleading investors about the Gemini Earn program, which let customers lend crypto assets to Genesis in exchange for a high rate of return. Remember, the higher the rate of return, the more likely it is a scam or something fishy is going on or something sus is happening. You just got to be very careful. Excuse me one second. James said that it had become clear as more investors came forward that the scam perpetrated by DCG through Genesis also ensnared investors who sent money directly to Genesis and were falsely assured their money was safe. We got a statement here from James that this is a illegal cryptocurrency scheme and the horrific financial loss that real people had suffered are yet another reminder of why stronger cryptocurrency regulations are needed to help protect all investors. Genesis filed for bankruptcy in January 2023, 2 months after halting withdrawals by Gemini Earn customers following the collapse of SBF FTX cryptocurrency exchange. Both Genesis and Gemini were also sued by the SEC, which said they bypassed disclosure requirements meant to protect Gemini Earn customers. Last week, Genesis agreed to pay the SEC $21 million fine, provided it can fully repay customers through the bankruptcy process. Gemini, meanwhile, has sued DCG over the failure of their cryptocurrency lending partnership. The Winklevoss twins came to the mainstream fame when they were portrayed in the film The Social Network about the birth of Facebook. They were at Harvard University with Mark Zuckerberg, who they later sued, claiming he stole the idea for the website, and they called Harvard Connection, or what they called Harvard Connection, but which he called Facebook. Lolita James is currently awaiting the outcome of fraud trial. She is prompted in the New York situation with Donald J. Trump, the president of the United States, the previous president of the United States. So, you got that drama unfolding. You got positive indicators for Bitcoin. What's going on with Ethereum? Well, Ethereum's Dencun upgrade is looking good. There were some hiccups. There were some issues, but something I want to clear up. And Tim Biko, again, there's a lot of falsehoods or false information that gets disseminated, and then people just run with it. The Dencun upgrade isn't going to just fix gas instantly. This is a upgrade, which is actually a very complicated upgrade, with 9 different EIPs on the path for a better future for Ethereum, or better capabilities for Ethereum. So this is a huge upgrade from a technical standpoint. And I know a lot of crypto miners don't care about Ethereum. I personally care about Ethereum because it is one of the largest ecosystems, and it does have a failover impact onto the other ecosystems of cryptocurrencies that I do love, right? So even though I don't mine it and I can't mine it anymore, I still like to keep an eye on what's going on. So first off, Tim Biko mentioned that it's not going to fix gas right away. This is just one of many steps in the right direction to make Ethereum more structurally stable, more efficient, reduce gas fees in the long run. It introduced proto-dank sharding, which is not really sharding, but is on the way to full sharding. So there's a lot of intricacies that are going on, and there was a hiccup, but within 4 hours, they had it patched and updated. So that just shows the capabilities of the Ethereum devs to see a situation, arise to the challenge, and resolve the situation. And I commend them for that, right? I really do commend them for that. So it's upgraded. Things are moving forward. We got other EIPs going, and the and obviously the upgrade to mainnet is not scheduled for now. It's March 13th. What I'm talking about and the issues they experienced was all on the testnet. This is why you test things before you launch them. But the target date for the Dencun upgrade on mainnet is March 13th. So just know this isn't going to just instantly fix fees, gas fees on Ethereum. Even though it's a lot better compared to what it was in the past. I will tell you that. It is 10 times better than what it was in the past. While it won't fix the fees right away, it is a huge upgrade and undertaking that the team has done, and I commend them for it. But the target date of March 13th is a long-awaited Dencun upgrade during a bi-weekly coordinating call on Thursday, officially targeting the countdown to the blockchain's biggest changes since April 2023. The Dencun upgrade is primarily known for proto-dank sharding feature, which is supposed to reduce the cost of transactions on auxiliary layer 2 networks built atop Ethereum by providing a dedicated space for data storage. Now, data, that's a big thing, right? Data is a big thing. Data layer, data storage, data aggregation, and 1 second, Chris Hanley says, is Solana implementing similar technology to be a better chain? Yes, and that's what I'm going to lead into, Chris Hanley. Good pickup on that. But data is big business. I want you to remember data for a minute, okay? As we move on, the decision was communicated during a core developers meeting, consensus layer call 127, just 1 day after the upgrade was successfully added to the Heliski testnet, the third of 3 testnets without any hiccups. Well, there were some hiccups. It's great to see years worth of effort finally being scheduled for the Ethereum mainnet, says one of their developers, the engineer of the Ethereum Foundation. The precise mode and Dencun upgrade on the Ethereum mainnet, also known as hard fork, will trigger the blockchain when it reaches that block number or slot, according to UTC time on March 13th. The date needs to be ratified by developers and confirmed via the open source software and GitHub. Dencun will enable new transaction class called proto-dank sharding, which will help reduce the cost of transactions for rollups through the introduction of data blobs and a new category of storing data, right? It's also supposed to help reduce the cost of data available on Ethereum, thus making the projects like Celestia, Avail, and Engine DA more attractive, right? So this is what Celestial is very intriguing to me. More of a modular blockchain that is going to be utilized, I believe, by Polygon and maybe a couple other smaller projects. Polygon is a small project, but a couple other small projects and Polygon are going to use Celestia for their data layer, right? Because it's cheaper to do it with Celestia than it is to do on Ethereum. So this right now there's this big push to data availability or data layer and data access, and Ethereum is just super expensive. So that's where items like Celestia comes in, but then you got Solana also building. You have a number of other protocols and blockchains also building, and it's just a trend right now is data, right? If you look around the other blockchains and some of the news that they release, they either have this implemented already, which costs so much less than Ethereum, or they're working towards implementation to beat or compete in some way with Ethereum. Instead of you having to pay more, right, because it would be an expensive affair to implement or to integrate Ethereum into your blockchain to access that data, it would just be better to use Celestia, Avail, which used to work with Polygon and what they're building up, which Polygon's going to be working with Celestia, which is kind of weird. So watch that whole data battle is what I think this is going to turn into. The inked-in date for Dencun means that the upgrade will go live later than developers had initially planned for. It was originally planned at the end of last year in September, but due to technical delays, the upgrade was pushed to this year, obviously March 13th, 2024. But yeah, there's going to be a big data battle, or there is already behind the scenes with developers and various experts in different blockchains, a battle of data, right? Data access, how to make data availability the most efficient, and cost the least amount. And that's what Dencun will bring, right? That is what Dencun will bring, or that will be a milestone, not a milestone, a step in the right direction for what Dencun and Ethereum overall will bring. So is it going to null and void Celestia and other protocols that are doing it? Probably. It will give it a run for its money. Is there still a place for Celestia? Yeah, definitely. It's instead of what they call monolithic blockchain, it's modular. So I think it's still going to have a place. So we'll see how things pan out. But it is a data battle. That's what I'm going to dub it right now. It is a data battle between these various blockchains. Ethereum has gatekeepers for good reason. This is an opinion piece. I'm not going to go too deep into it. If you want, I can link it in the description. But yeah, a new non-standard token non-standard token standard called ERC 404 circumvented the usual governance processes and is capitalizing on a term with a actual definition. The first started seeing references to ERC 404 tokens on social media earlier this week and thought it was a funny joke, a non-existent token referencing the error message you sometimes see when surfing the web, like HTTP 404, page not found. When I learned later that the project is real, I thought it was a little less funny. Okay, so this is coming from the viewpoint of the article writer, not me. Ethereum's request for comments, the set of technical standards used to launch tokens on Ethereum, it's a failsafe meant to ensure new token standards are up to snuff and something the community has vetted as viable, safe, and useful proposal as written in the Ethereum GitHub. The goal of ERC is to standardize and provide high-quality documentation for Ethereum application layer, not the data layer, the application layer. Further, before you write an ERC, ideas must be thorough and discussed on Ethereum Magicians or Ethereum Research. Other consensus is reached thoroughly read and reviewed EIP 1, which describes the EIP ERC process. ERC 404 did away with all of that. While not called an unofficial and experimental architecture, ERC 404 was launched into the world by a 4-person team without any documentation or buy-in from the wider community and has certainly caused controversy. If you want to learn more about this controversy, I'm going to go ahead and post this link in the description. I hope I hooked you on that one. That was the intent, because again, I'm not going to read this entire opinion piece for you. So link is going to be in the description. Go learn about some ERC 404s. And let's move on with the show. Now, do I have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that? Because we're about to talk about the Solana outage. iBit advertising Solana, Arrow 404. All right, so Solana outage was caused by an infinite loop bug previously seen on DevNet. All right, this is a bug that they saw before. But Solana Labs said that the recent outage halted blockchain transaction for 5 hours on February 6th. That was earlier this week, which caused the bug developers, which was a bug that the developers caught a week earlier. Solana Labs published a detailed report on February 9th outlining the investigation of the outage, which revealed that the known bug had multiple triggers and developers had only deployed a fix for one of them when the outage occurred. The root cause, through earlier reports, partially identified the issue. The latest reports provide a technical reason for the outage and states that the deploy, evict, recycle, or request cycle of legacy loader program triggered an infinite recompile loop in the JIT cache or JIT cache. Simply put, Solana's transaction process entered the infinite loop due to a bug. The relevant bug only affected version 1.17 of Solana's validator client and was not present in version 1.16 of the client. However, almost all validators stalled because 95% of the cluster stake was running 1.17. You know, when you come out with an update, you really want to keep your nodes on the latest version, right? There might be security patches, updates, exploits that were patched, whatever. So when you send out an update, whether it's an Nvidia driver, a CPU driver, a BIOS for your motherboard, a node validator, Chia, Ethereum, whatever, Solana, you should expect your network to try to keep up to date. Maybe not always up to date. Maybe the slow runners, you know, we're still on 1.16. But anyways, everybody's on 1.17. Thus, 95% of the cluster stake was stalled. The latest report also revealed that developers had identified the bug as the cause of the outage on Solana's DevNet 1 week earlier. Developers had already patched one possible trigger for the bug when the outage occurred and subsequently sped the release of a patch for the second trigger. Right, so it was patched fairly quickly. So with version 1.17.20 of the client, developers intend to release more complete fix in the future. According to reports, Solana has experienced numerous outages. It's not the first time, right? There's 9 total outages since September of 2021 with over 150 hours of downtime. However, with that said, guys, look at how Solana is doing. Just think about that for a second. Every time there was an outage, right? I talked about it on Caffeine Crypto in the past. Outage for Solana, people calling for Solana's death, people calling for the product. It's not the Ethereum killer that it claimed to be. And I don't even think they claimed to be an Ethereum killer. Can somebody confirm? Did they claim to be an Ethereum killer? I don't think they did, but I could be wrong. I think media in other articles claimed Solana was an Ethereum killer. So, it goes down 9 times now, but yet look at how it's been performing. Solana's price has more than recovered since the most recent February 6th incident, which caused Sol to hit a 6-day low of $93.75. The token was trading at 105 as of press time, up 2.4% in 24 hours. And if we look here, just like Bitcoin, right, the beginning of this week, we were at $93.85, and we pumped all the way up to $110, now stabilizing at $108, right? We haven't surpassed the previous all-time high of $126, or excuse me, recent all-time high of $126, and we got a long way to go before we get back to 265. But I just want you to know something. Not Solana specifically, but projects or blockchains that have an ecosystem are things I would recommend you keep on your radar. I'm not saying go out there and buy Avalanche, Optimism, Solana, Polygon, anything, but projects or ecosystems that are built, like the main project that those ecosystems are built upon, keep those on your radar. I said that last week. I'm probably going to say it again next week. Just keep that on your radar. That's all I'm going to say. Good luck to you. But yeah, there was an outage. They fixed it. It's since recovered. Solana looking good. Solana gains more than Bitcoin as traders speculate an extreme move is ahead, or that an extreme move is ahead. Solana, the 5th largest coin by market cap, reclaimed the $100 level, erasing the price drop. The Solana network suffered an outage of 5 hours. I thought it was 4 hours, but 5 hours. Changing hands at $102, up 5% in the past 24 hours. Now it's actually up $108. There were only cryptocurrencies in the broad market CoinDesk 20 index, or CD20, that managed to outperform Bitcoin's 3% daily advance. CD20, which tracks the performance of the largest crypto assets, were up 4%. Widely followed, crypto trader Wick suggested that there could be further gains for Sol, pointing to recent price action. Excuse me, that's the coffee. The token is in the process of forming a chart pattern similar to one seen in October and December before big moves. Solana printed a shady squeeze area, as Wick says on their Twitter post, and warns of an extreme move. They say here, Solana printed a shady squeeze area. This usually warns of an extreme move incoming. This is Max Payne move on Solana, as everyone put on shorts while the chain was down. I tried to warn everybody to stay bullish. So a lot of shorts were put in when the chain went down, when Solana had that outage. So yeah. While other cryptocurrencies mostly lag behind Solana and Bitcoin, the outlook for the broader altcoin market looks bullish, as late last year was a frothy sentiment reset. Caleb Frenzer from Cubic Analytics wrote, the total market capitalization of cryptocurrencies, including BTC, ETH, total 3, approximately, of altcoins and TradingView, retested a key accumulative zone and shows signs of bouncing off the oversold levels. This seems like a bullish price action. So we basically, what that said is we should see more bullish momentum for these altcoins and Bitcoin. Right? That's what they're hoping for. So we got Lunar New Year, We got the super trend indicator. We got what was it called? What was it called? What was it called? Shady squeeze area. Like a lot of indicators. So we'll see how things play out. Moving on to the mining world, Bitcoin miner shares offered could be a good entry point ahead of the halving event, says Bernstein. So what they're talking about is instead of investing in crypto directly, a good entry point for investors would be to go into Bitcoin mining company stocks like Riot, Clean Spark, so on and so forth. Personally, it wouldn't be bad, and this is just me thinking out loud, an opinion. It wouldn't be bad to allocate a percentage of your portfolio, just a small percentage. I wouldn't say a lot, right? Like a small percentage into these Bitcoin miner stocks. However, I would prefer to go into Bitcoin directly rather than the stocks of these mining companies. But it could do very well. So as Bitcoin mining companies appear to have bottomed out following the approval of the ETFs in the US last month, the broker Bernstein advises buying its preferred stock in the sector ahead of the next reward halving in a report that they published Thursday. The world's largest cryptocurrency has performed well ahead of its halving, in which the reward miners earn for its effort is slashed by 50%, and will probably sustain momentum for the rest of the year, says Bernstein. The cut is expected to take place in April. The Bitcoin price broke out after each of these three previous events, and this time it's already strong ahead of the catalyst, which it is. Bitcoin is a lot stronger than it was pre-halving in the past, like right now. So that's why I'm saying it's a little bit different. While the trend is still consistent, in my opinion, things are a little bit different. Somebody's throwing a wrench in my wheels, and I have to be careful because I don't want to get too excited and get wrecked, and I don't want to be too unexcited and get wrecked. So it's kind of a balancing act. But anyways, Bernstein recommends achieving Bitcoin exposure through mining stock and outperformed Alp and outperform rated Riot platforms, and Clean Spark are the broker's top picks in the sector. They're talking about these mining companies. Can we actually look these up on TradingView? I'm not sure. Let's see here. Yeah, Riot platforms on the NASDAQ. All right, so this article was published earlier this week, and it did bottom out on February 5th. I wouldn't say that's the complete bottom, but it did bottom out. Looks like they got an earnings coming up here. Is that what that is? Yep, earnings review on March 13th. Reviewing the end of 2023. So, yeah, if you picked up some stock here, a Riot platform at $10.25, you're up from that $10.25 about 42% already. So, depending on when that article was written, let me go back up to the top here. It was February 9th. So it didn't come out before the beginning of this week where it was already at the bottom at $10.25. But just showing you an example. Not saying you should do it. I'm just showing you an example. Just showing you the chart. Given the positive ETF flows momentum, resilient BTC price action, and healthy miners adding capacity into the halving, will feel comfortable recommending investors to enter here for preferred names. And obviously, they got some names here. The institutional narrative led by the Bitcoin ETF is driven demand, and Bitcoin being the reflective asset, we expect higher price will bring higher ETF inflows, leading to new highs in 2024. Normally having a risk-off event for the sector as the market looks to clear out high-cost miners operating at unsustainable costs. So miners running a more expensive operation, more expensive overhead with less efficient miners are going to see a hit. And hopefully Clean Spark and Riot and the people that these brokers are recommending are put themselves in a good position, because when the halving hits, we're going to see, I personally think we're going to see a shakeout of the miners, right? Maybe not in the market. We're not talking like a shakeout in the market where the weak hands lose faith and sell their position at a loss. We're talking about mining operations that can no longer be sustainable because of the reduced reward, increased cost of electricity and whatever. And I know they get a huge discount compared to residential But to maintain their overhead, the cost, to pay back their investors, whatever it is, they might fall out. So we might see a new drop in miners post halving. It may not be right away, but I think a few of the companies might fall off. Not saying like Riot or Clean Spark will. I would assume that these bigger companies that are publicly traded on the NASDAQ or whatever institution or stock market in general should have the right people in place to be prepared. They should be already prepared. Like, they should have been prepared last year for the halving this year. That if Bitcoin's price falls to this and we have a power rate of this, we are still sustainable and still profitable to run our operations. If the Bitcoin reward or yield reduces to this with the current electric rate and the current cost for overhead, we are still sustainable to this point. There's a number in their head, right? We're still sustainable up until, this price. And then that's when they got to be like, okay, what are we going to do? Are we going to sell this location, that location? Are we going to sell our miners, so on and so forth? But we'll see how things go on as we move on. Chinese Bitcoin miners find new crypto haven in Ethiopia. Now, China's heavily invested. This is a Bloomberg article, so I can't read this one to you, but China is heavily invested in Africa. Heavily invested in Africa. It's making some of the central governments throughout the world a little bit nervous how China and Africa have become buddy-buddy, and how much China is influencing Africa by providing this infrastructure and providing this, that, and the other thing. But without getting into that political realm, let's focus on how Bitcoin miners from China are finding a new haven in Ethiopia. It's not as strict as the United States and some of the other countries, the EU, right? So it's not as strict. It's not as strict as its own country in China. There's somewhat openness to cryptocurrency, Bitcoin in Africa as well, because of the Chinese development in the infrastructure of Africa, also improving the facilities, probably the electric generation, stuff like that, is turning into a haven for these Bitcoin miners from China to flock on over to Ethiopia. So I'm going to keep my eye on that situation. Real quick, checking out the chat. D miners, good morning to you. Hope you're all doing very well. Nobody cares because it's cheap. That's true, says Steve Mint. You can mine ALF and get bonk and trade to Solana. Crypto Pounder 4, yes you can. Seb Chat, what's going on? Here by service. Bakatron07 and Mike Newton. Happy Lunar New Year. Thank you for stopping by. Wow, we got 44 people watching. Thank you guys. I really appreciate that. Please hit that like button. Make sure if you're not a subscriber, get subscribed, and do me a favor. Check out some of the links in the description to help support the channel for anything that might be of interest to you. Bitcoin mining and the politicization of once reputable federal agencies. Now, there's a big sign that says Texas here. I haven't looked at this, but it says the Energy Information Administration's mandatory emergency survey of the electricity consumption data represents the latest in a political motivated campaign against Bitcoin mining, cryptocurrency, and U.S.-led innovation. We believe this should cause concern for all industries that rely on data centers as part of their main operations. Lee Brancher is a board member and president of the Texas Blockchain Council. Blah, blah, blah. Instead of focusing on improving our aging electrical infrastructure and working to ensure grid stability, the Department of Energy, EIA, has prioritized taking unprecedented steps to targeting private businesses and political purposes. For political purposes, the action is an abuse of authority in order to further the Biden administration's public goal to limit or eliminate U.S. Bitcoin miners while pleading ignorance to U.S. miners' utilization of renewable resources and uniquely flexible operations, which is true, right? A lot of the Bitcoin operations, not all of them, but a good majority of them, especially the bigger operations, have a good ESG mix, right? They are using a percentage of fossil fuels, or legacy fuels is what I would like to call it, but they also have renewables, and they recycle some of that power, and they stop the leaky gas from just coming out of the Texas ground, and they reuse it for Bitcoin mining. So, they don't factor in a lot of things, but Bitcoin mining has been given a negative connotation that it's just using so much power and is not a strategic benefit to the ecosystem or to the world. The survey asks for information that goes beyond the typical request made by the EIA. For decades, the EIA has conducted itself as an apolitical information gathering body within the Department of Energy, or the DOE. Had this survey been in line with the previous surveys, there would be no cause for alarm. However, this survey is specifically targeting Bitcoin miners and asking for private information such as the name of the energy company with which the miner has signed power purchase agreements, right? So when you sign up for the power, your 6 cents per kilowatt hour deal, that the information needs to be provided, the power companies, so on and so forth. It's not a logical leap to be concerned about Biden administration putting pressure on those energy providers to discontinue their business with Bitcoin miners. Thanks to Bitcoin miners' ability to rapidly adjust their data centers' power usage according to grid conditions, their operations are most flexible and responsive electrical loads in the nation. It's well known that they offer critical grid stabilization benefits to the communities in which they operate, right? We call that, what was the word used in Mind Disrupt 2023 a lot? Curtailment. Energy curtailment. A lot of these mining operations curtail their energy to the needs of the ecosystem around them. If a power company says, hey, you know what? We need this power. We're about to hit peak load. The community needs this. We need to get power to those schools. We need to get power to these houses. They can shut down their rigs so that power can be redistributed to the correct places. These capabilities were on full display during recent periods of the cold winter in Texas. We talked about this in the past, where there was emergency condition and emergency actions where the electrical authorities or the providers reached out to these Bitcoin mining facilities and said, yo, we need that power, bro. And they were like, no problem, cuz, I got you. And then they turned off the power. Power went to the right place. So Bitcoin miners are the economically perfect consumers of electricity. This is not to say that Bitcoin miners will consume electricity in an altruistic way, but rather Bitcoin miners are so sensitive to the price of power that they are economically incentivized to curtail their consumption when power prices rise past their break-even point. This means mining operations will run when prices are below their break-even or won't run, and when it's above their break-even point, they'll turn back on. They'll curtail their energy. Also, because of Bitcoin mining, these energy authorities or providers, not authorities, right? Authorities are the ones coming after or doing these stupid surveys and trying to harass the Bitcoin miners. But the providers, the power companies that work with these Bitcoin mining facilities, are forced into a position where they have to improve their infrastructure. They have to improve their ecosystem or the way to deliver power, and probably expand their mixture of fossil fuels and renewables and so on and so forth. So I think the Biden administration, sir, Mr. President, should work with these power companies because they do need to upgrade. And a lot of these power companies are thieves. They're I don't want to say that word, but they're wrecking residential and commercial users of power because they're a monopoly. There's no other power company where I live, and there's no other power company where a lot of people live, right? So there's no competition. So they can raise the price to whatever, and you're just gonna have to pay it because you need power. They can lower the price, not only because it will be better for the overall community, but they can improve their infrastructure, lower their price, and become more efficient. We need to improve our grid, period. Right? We need to improve the electrical grid, period, and the infrastructure overall, Mr. President. Don't work against the miners, work with the miners, and I bet you would see better results, more significant results in what you're trying to achieve. Don't just listen to one source or two sources, because I'm not sure the information you're being provided is not the full picture. Listen to multiple sources, and I challenge you, Mr. President, go out to one of these Bitcoin mining farms and go see how they operate. Just try it. Anyways, that is about the end of our stream. We got Red Panda Mining going live here in just a moment. We see them right, Cha, right? Oh, Red Fox Crypto got a video. Old school 12 GPU mining rig build. Nice. I see some, looks like 6700 XT Hellhounds is what that looks like to me. Good job, Red Fox Crypto. But we do have Red Panda Mining going live here in just a moment. We're just going to chill out real quick as we move forward. We got a little video to play here, but I am taking any questions, comments, concerns, or anything like that. I appreciate you guys so much for stopping by and hanging out with me. Let's take a listen as an ad's about to play. So let me hit that real quick. Let the ad play. Of course, it's crypto.com. Have you noticed? Oh, keep going. Red Panda just woke up. Got it, boss. So, have you noticed that there's no crypto ads in the Super Bowl this year? There's going to be no ads in the Super Bowl this year. And obviously, there's a bad taste in a lot of people's mice, because of FTX and the whole debacle and stuff like that. I completely understand, especially considering. But Bitcoin isn't going anywhere. Crypto isn't going anywhere. Out of 2 million, by the way, there's 2.2 million now. 2.2 million. Look in the top left here. 2.2 million crap coins. Not all of them are crap coins, but a majority of them are. You know, yeah, some of these meme coins and some of these crap coins that has no tangible benefit to the world could wind up netting you a pretty penny if you wind up getting it in at the right time. But time in the market is going to get you wrecked. Time in the market is what going to build what many say future wealth. Not right now. I know you want right now money. I know I want right now money, but I know the chances of finding right now money is very slim. So I'm trying to build financial wealth for the future, for my family, for my wife, for my kids, for my mother. There's a lot of things I want to do. I could sell all my crypto right now and give it to each of my family members, and they'll be okay with that. But I know I could do so much more by preparing for the future. I always think about the future. I'm not thinking about right now. It's like chess. I'm always thinking 3 steps ahead, three to 5 moves ahead. So life is chess, not checkers. Just stack them sats, keep your head down, and we'll be A-okay.
Is $47,000 to end the week. New York Attorney General Letitia James files an amended complaint expanding the office's lawsuit against Digital Currency Group. And Jacqueline Burns-Coven with Chainalysis breaks down what contributed to total crypto ransom payments jumping to their highest level yet. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Tanea McKeel. Crypto prices marching higher in a big comeback to end the week. As of noon Eastern, Bitcoin climbed nearly 5% to trade above the $47,000 mark. At one point, it reached a high of about $47,700, a level not seen since January 11th when U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs began trading. Ether rose more than 2.5% to $24.87, and Solana.
Losing with Larry. Are you talking about unsubscribing from Red Panda, or are you talking about unsubscribing from me? I'm not sure if you're a subscriber, but if you are, I would like to know why. And any additional information or constructive criticism will greatly be appreciated.
Solana climbed more than 2%, trading at $105. For the week, Bitcoin and Ether are higher by 10% and 8% respectively. Positive sentiment appears to be returning as outflows from the Grayscale Bitcoin ETF continue to taper off. Crypto also catching a bid from the stock market, where the benchmark S&P 500 has been trading above 5,000 for the first time. Bitcoin is still the underperformer over the past 30 days, with a mild 1% gain roughly compared to the S&P's 5% and ETH more than doubling that for the same period. It makes sense to see ETH continue outperforming here, where markets have a healthy appetite for risk and stocks are running to record highs. Bitcoin, nevertheless, approaching a key resistance level at $48,600. Chart analysts say if it clears that, the door could be open for a new high above 50 and perhaps even an all-time high. The moves pulled crypto-focused stocks higher, with Coinbase climbing nearly 5% as of noon Eastern. CleanSpark soared more than 26%, getting an extra lift from the rise in Bitcoin after it posted better-than-expected results for its fiscal first quarter late yesterday. Okay.
No, but seriously, like, I appreciate it, losing with Larry. But like, there are some people that just honestly don't give me a reason. And you're not unsubscribing from me. You were just saying you were giving Panda a hard time. But like, I like to know what what I did in my video or in my content to cause that, so that way I can rectify it. I can't fix the problem if I don't know the problem. I'm a problem solver. I'm a critical thinker. I like looking at the technical details and understanding where the error is and then rectifying that error, and then trying to improve upon it so that way we can avoid that error in the future. We had one of those situations earlier this week. There was a DDoS attack. Oh, by the way, do you guys hear about the DDoS attack with smart brushes against the Swiss company? I post stuff like that on my Twitter. If you're not following me on Twitter already, I was wondering why my toothbrush keeps dying. Like in the middle of the night, it starts blinking, and like it's not charging. I got done washing, and I don't even use the app, the Sonic Care app, to download my data, because like the data like tells you like how long you brush and how much time you need to spend in this area and tips and that and stuff. I don't even use that, right? And so there's no connection Bluetooth wise between my toothbrush and my phone. However, apparently, you know, just like any IoT device, Internet of Things device, somebody built a botnet and went and attacked the Swiss company. Oh man. And IoT devices are growing like crazy. I mean, you got smart cameras, you got doorbells, you got your smart toothbrushes, you got the garage door openers, you got the devices inside your car. It is absolutely like nuts how many IoT devices out there. And I remember somebody building a big botnet. I think the FBI and the NSA were getting worried. I'm not sure what the outcome was from that. I don't think anything ever happened, but it was one of the largest botnets ever built, period. But yeah. So let's see here. Red Panda is not going live. Going live? It looks like he's going live. Maybe, possibly. I don't know. We're just looking at what is this? Cyberpunk? What are we looking at here? This Cyberpunk? Hang on. Let me unlive this real quick. Oh god, it's gonna demonetize me. It's gonna demonetize me. So yeah, Red Panda Mining is just waking up. He should be getting up here in a little bit, or going live here in a little bit. But thank you so much for hanging out with us and stopping by. Oh, don't forget, I am gonna be in Orange Park, Florida. If you guys are nearby, at the what is it? Cultured. Nope. Cultured. Oh my goodness, why can't I think of it? What is it called? There we go. Cultured Collective Brewing Company. In a few hours at 2. It opens at 1 p.m. They close at 9 on Saturday. I'm gonna be there from 2 to maybe 3. I'm just gonna have a beer, catch up with some of the fellow blockchain nerds, Bitcoin lovers, and just hang out. And if you are in or near Orange Park, Florida, I've been announcing this and talking about it since last week or the week before. I would love to see you. I'd love to hang out with you, meet you. Some of you I have met in person. Some of you I have not. So don't be taken back if I'm like, whoa, like, who are you? Because a lot of people call me by my name, but then I don't know who they are. And yeah. Not that it's stranger danger or anything, but like that. Just introduce yourself. I'll compute that data and be like, oh, hey, how you doing? And then yeah, tell me your on-screen name, stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully I get to see some of you. It'd be really cool. Don't build botnets. Government hates competition. Got to go back to work, Serpent. You rock. Appreciate you, Seb. Take care. Keep the good things coming. Your word of wisdom, always appreciated. I try, man. I try. Hopefully Red Panda has some good news, because he says here on his live stream title, mining is going to get interesting very soon. So we'll see how things go. As I'm just trying to delay, because Red Panda, you're taking too long. Come on, man. You're killing me, bro. Hurry up. Hurry up. He's probably, I mean, nobody's looking at you in the camera. You don't have to wash your face, brush your teeth, and get the eye crusties off. Like, you don't show your face anyways. So come on, man. Go live. But yeah, because this is going to drag out for my future viewers, do me a favor and, what the hell? Seriously? Seriously? That's our thing? Okay. Yeah. just hit the like button, get subscribed, hit notification bell to stay up to date, and check out some of the links in the description to help support the channel and what we do here, and I will catch you next one. Just have yourself a wonderful day. Take care. Yeah, software updates also break stuff. Son of Rabbit Panda, 100%. That's why I don't update right away, especially new drivers, unless it's on a test system to kind of get data for you guys, or an update to a node, because just like bug fixes aren't applied right away, like 1.17 on Solana. You know, staying on 1.16 was a good idea for a little while, but it did stall the network. So it's catch-22. Bug fixes or updates or patches, whatever, can bring in security improvements, exploit mitigation, all kinds of stuff, but then at the same time it can also bring more bugs. But yep, Red Panda's.
You know quantum computers, you know blockchain, but do you know both together? Dynex was the first platform to create a neuromorphic supercomputing blockchain-based algorithm which solves real-world problems. And the best part? Anyone can post a job, whether a company from the Global 2000, a machine learning job, or fintech and pharmaceutical. And if you don't want to program it yourself, get an expert directly at the marketplace. Run the job and be impressed by the fast result.